You are a unique expression of creative light. And today we are going to express that light in our art journals using a mandala format. So I'm going to walk you all through that. But first, I want to welcome you to Creative Spirit Gathering. This is your place for exploring what is on your mind, your heart, your unique individual being in an art journal format. I'm your host, Jen Hutchins, founder of Unity Arts Ministry. We're a nonprofit dedicated to inspiring personal transformation and growth through creative enrichment and spiritual practices. So if that's your jam, I am so glad you are here. If that's not your jam, I hope it will be by the end of our time together. And I welcome you, whether this is your first time tuning in or you've been with us for years. We are glad you're here. Oh, important thing, if you want to support our ministry or learn more, please go to our website at unityartsministry.org. All right. So some of you may be familiar with this. Those of you with the program for years, you're probably familiar with this piece because I did it in one of our earlier sessions. But it's a great example of that mandala, that light, that shining forward energy, very radiant, very expressive art piece. So I'm going to be using this as sort of our touchstone for the concept of mandala today, but also sharing with you several other examples to sort of kickstart your inspiration when we move into that piece of creative reflection today. One of the things I love about mandalas is they can sort of be this launch point, this starting point, almost like a seed of art that can express in an infinite amount of ways. They can be filled with ornate patterns. They could be super simple. And in many ways, they're like a snowflake in that sense. In reading week 4 of Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, I came across this quote that I'm going to base our lesson today off of. She says, "The snowflake pattern of your soul is emerging. The snowflake pattern of your soul is emerging. Each of us is a unique, creative individual." And I think that is so true. And I have witnessed this time and again with those in our community, witnessing those creative patterns emerging, witnessing your authenticity emerging as you lean into creative practice, as you deepen your spiritual practices. So today we're going to be leaning in and creating an image that represents the unique snowflake pattern of your life. So I want to share with you some examples of mandalas that I've done in my journals. Again, this idea that a mandala can sort of be very much, a mandala could be like a snowflake design, right? Each one is very unique, very personal. And for myself, though, I noticed some repeating patterns within them that tend to show up in many of my journals. You'll see here in the center, this spiral shape, and in the one that I shared with you earlier, that spiral in the center. I've noticed for myself, many of my mandalas start with a spiral in the center and then go outward. But this one on the page or on the screen that you're looking at now was created with one single color shifting crayon. So one crayon that had multiple colors sort of melted into the wax. But it's a single line drawing. It's not filled in. So this could be a very simplified way of approaching a mandala, yet still very beautiful. Another example, again, this one was done with Sharpie marker. So single material used to create all of the lines, a little more details on this one. And then I did a watercolor wash over the entire thing to add color. But it was sort of a full wash and not like coloring in each individual element. But still, you can see this, again, spiral center here, and these really warm colors sort of adding to this sense of energy and sort of heat moving through the page. Now here's one where I went back in with markers and I filled in all the shapes. Again, you see lots of spirals on the page. Like I said, this is a theme that keeps showing up for me. And starting with the center radiating out, lots of details in this one. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this particular piece took me more than 30 minutes, which will be our time together today. But you probably could get a good sense of that outline within our time and continue working on it beyond our session. It's up to you where you want to go with this. Sharing this one, because again, very different way of approaching this. This one happens to be a mixed media piece. There's watercolor on there, there's markers, there's stamps, there's cutout paper, pen and ink as well. So lots of options. Again, to give you a sense that really you can go anywhere with this because the project is about you. It's about your unique individual expression. And we're going to be leaning into a meditation in just a moment in which I'm going to guide you into looking at, right, using the power of imagination to look at the patterns that are coming forward for you, the shapes that are coming forward for you, the colors that are representing your creative soul, your creative spirit right now at this time in your life as your unique snowflake pattern is emerging. You could do this with color, with no color at all. It could be black and white drawing. You could, of course, go completely off pattern here, right? And fill your page with paint smears or with words. It's always up to you. I'm giving you an example to start off with, sort of a place as a jumping off point. And from there, it's up to you and your spirit where you go today. So I'm going to invite you into a meditation now. And we're going to do this a little bit different today in that I'm going to guide you in, instead of just sitting in the silence. We're going to work together to co-create this space of visioning. So I invite you to drop into your seat. Make sure that your physical body is comfortable, right? Roll those shoulders back, circle your neck. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. And as you do so, feel yourself sink more fully into your seat. Know that your body is relaxed, your body is supported. As we begin to bring the awareness to the inner being, notice the breath gently flowing in and out. Let the breath help to still the mind, to bring you into a greater state of relaxation. Now I invite you to bring your awareness to your third eye. This is the point between the eyebrows, just in the center of the forehead. This is the seat of imagination. This is a place of leaning into spiritual wisdom, intuition, understanding. And as we bring our awareness to this point, I invite you to ask the question, how is my creative spirit expressing? How is my creative spirit expressing? And if you could envision expressing it as a shape, what shape comes to mind? Does it have soft edges? Are there points, corners? Is it a shape you recognize, or something purely organic, purely you? Perhaps there is no container. Whatever comes forward for you, trust that. And now begin to envision the details within that shape. What patterns are emerging, shining forward? Again, they may be recognizable shapes, diamonds, spirals, concentric circles, petals of a flower. They may be organic forms, flowing lines, abstract shapes. Imagine these patterns weaving together to fill the greater shape, the snowflake pattern of your creative spirit and expression. Invite into the mind's eye any colors that are coming forward. Observe if there are many colors and shapes or simplified patterns, single color, dominating energy that identifies, connects to your creative spirit energy. Again, trust whatever comes forward for you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale slowly. To hold the image of your unique creative spirit. We hold this image in our mind and our mind's eye. As we gently open our eyes back to this present moment. Before I invite you to move into the expression on your journal page today, I just want to remind you again to lean in, to trust the process. You may notice that a color comes forward for you as you're creating that maybe wasn't in your original vision. Perhaps a color that sometimes you find disharmonious for you, but maybe it's something new emerging. So allow that, trust that, allow yourself to really be in the flow with today's process. Let the colors, the patterns, and the shapes emerge. Trust your intuition, trust yourself, and see the beautiful patterns of your unique creative spirit as they come forth on the page. Enjoy the process, my friends.